My family grew up modern Orthodox. We kept all the mitzvot, but there were certain things that we did that weren't so Jewish. We would go to the movie theaters quite often. We would go to the beach. My skirts didn't always cover my knees, things like that. And I also grew up going to an all-girls yeshiva. But one of the things that I would say I grew up is that none of the mitzvot had really the true meaning behind it. Like, it would be, okay, Rosh Hashanah is coming up, I get to dip the apple in the honey. Whereas right now, it's, okay, Rosh Hashanah is coming up, how could I fix myself? What else do I need to do teshuva? Things like that. But back then, it was just, I'm just doing this because this is what's next. This is what we have to do. We go in the sukkah, but there was no beauty behind it. I was pretty young when I started doing teshuva. I would say it started very slowly. Like I took it one step at a time. My sister actually started going to Rabbi Reuven shiurs first, and then slowly the rest of my family got into it as well. So it started like I would try on this skirt, and then I would be like, okay, this is not fully modest. And one thing that helped me was, would I picture Sarah Imenu wearing this skirt? Would she wear this? Would any of the great Rebbetzins wear something like this? And if the answer was no, then I would have to tell myself, okay, then I can't wear it either. And then slowly it would be, once I was going so often to Rabbi Reuven shiurs, I couldn't sit and watch movies or TV shows anymore, because you know that you realize and you learn that it's all filth and it's all fake and it's all just a waste of time, and if it's not bringing you closer to HaShem, then that means that it's bringing you further away from HaShem. And once I started going almost to every single shiur that Rabbi Reuven had every single week, 3 nights a week, it would be like I couldn't miss it at all. I would have my notebook and just want to write everything down, and it's just amazing everything that you learn. And I was still in high school, and everything that Rabbi Reuven was teaching and is teaching, like, they didn't teach it in school. You learn halacha and whatever else, like Chumash, Rashi, but they didn't teach a lot of hashkafa and Mussar like Rabbi Reuven does. So it was definitely, like, it felt so refreshing to hear, like, no, you need to fix yourself, you need to do this, and everything that Rabbi Reuven teaches. The shiur that affected me the most, it's hard to pick just one. I really love the Bitachon BeHaShem series with the Beit HaLevi. I also really enjoy the Gerut Ramban, and everything is amazing. But I could vividly remember one shiur when I was first starting to do teshuva, specifically with Modesty. I remember there was one that really set the light bulb off for me, and I remember the thumbnail of the video had fruit in it, and I think the title was something along the lines of, what can you learn from a fruit, or something like that. And in the shiur, Rabbi Reuven was saying, when you have a fruit, it comes with a peel, and the peel is like the protection, and as soon as you take a bite from it or you peel it, it'll turn brown if it's not eaten right away. And as he said, that it's the same thing, like with our clothing. We have to cover ourselves, because if we show our skin and uncover, then we will rot, basically. And I just thought that was such a beautiful analogy, because it's exactly right. Because if everyone goes around selling peeled apples, no one's going to want to buy them, because they're all going to be rotten. Same thing with Modesty. Your beauty is only for your husband. So that's why for everyone else, it has to be covered. And I just thought that was so beautiful because it shows that modesty is really like a protection for a woman, because just how the peel protects and preserves the fruit from getting spoiled, our clothes protect us from everything. The advice I would give to someone would be to really, in the beginning, like listen to as much shiurs as you possibly can, because especially in the beginning, you really need constant chizuk, and really throughout your whole life, but especially in the beginning, because you might have doubts. Do I really want to do this? Am I ready? Could I take this on? I don't know if I can. And that's all the Tahara. So if you're constantly immersing yourself in shiurs in Torah, then your neshama will naturally just want to do everything. So I would say listen to a lot of the shiurs and don't think you could take everything on all at once, because depending on everyone's situation, they have a lot to fix. So for me, for example, I didn't throw away all my clothes at once. I went through little by little my closet and picked out what wasn't modest and slowly filled it up with things that were more modest. And same thing for everything else. Once I started listening to more and more shiurs, it was easy to cut out movies, TV, anything that had to do with being secular, anything that wasn't with HaShem really. It was easier to cut out because my neshama was telling me, okay, this is not bringing me closer to HaShem, I don't want it anymore. And another thing that really helped me, and it seems so small and it's easy when you just say it out loud, but it's really important to implement this, is to look at the mitzvot as diamonds rather than a rock or a burden. I remember there was a flyer or a poster, I don't remember what it was that BeEzrat HaShem published, but it was this little icon of a stick figure holding a bunch of rocks and bending over because it was so heavy, and then it said, this is what you think mitzvot are, and then it had an arrow and another stick figure hunched over, but that stick figure was holding a whole leaf of diamonds, and it said, this is what mitzvot really are. And I printed that out and pasted it onto my notebook, because that is just the number one reminder for me, because it just makes you want to do everything in the best way possible. It makes you want to keep Shabbat, have the nicest clothes for Shabbat, because you realize all the mitzvot are all diamonds, and who wouldn't want to get a whole bunch of diamonds? It just makes you want to keep everything, because you want to get as much diamonds that are really mitzvot as possible. And this way you look at it as HaShem is giving me all these diamonds. Like, he's not giving me all these mitzvot that are a burden. He's giving them to me because this is what's going to make me a better person, and this is what's going to help me with everything. And I also love when Rabbi Reuven talks about how you're doing Teshuva your whole life. So as much as all these Teshuva stories are helping everyone, I think it's also important to point out that your Teshuva story never really ends. There's never a finishing point, because as long as you're alive, you always have something to work on, something to do, something you could do more for HaShem, more chesed, learn more, everything. And I'm just so grateful to HaShem and for Rabbi Reuven and the whole BeEzrat HaShem organization for helping Klal Yisrael and doing so many amazing things. And I just feel so grateful to be a part of this and get to share my story. Thank you so much.
אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם. שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה. שבכל מה שיפנו ישכילו ויצליחו. יזכו לעשות כאלה וכאלה. הגדילו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.